Oh, I don't have nothing bad to say. Actually, I'm the one, we just talked about like your health condition, which you were here for your hip fracture, and that is healed. You still have some swelling in that leg.
It's healed?
The incision is healed.
Okay.
Yeah, the incision part is healed.
It looks good. I mean, the color is good now.
Yeah. Yep, you still got some tenderness in that leg and some puffiness. And
Sure.
What is his code status?
CPR.
Okay. And do
Pardon?
you want your code status to remain CPR? In the event your heart would stop?
In other words, would you like CPR if you had something bad to eat and you were choking and they had to revive you?
That happens every other day.
So in other words, yes, he would like that.
Okay. All right. And you said the pain is under control and stuff?
Yeah, Orlando.
I feel that way.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah, you ever took no pain medications. He was taking some of the Norco then he was taking some Tylenol, but like this morning, you didn't think you needed none, and
No reason to. No reason to.
yeah.
Okay. Well, great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have anything else, Deb?
No, his goal is still to return home, and is that correct?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And you seem to eat. He doesn't really have a whole bunch of complaints as far as for nursing.
No.
Been pleasant. Yeah.
What do you mean? I've been pleasant? Or
You have been pleasant. You like to joke.
That works two ways.
Yeah. Just kind of a little tired. That's the only thing I kind of noticed, like Friday and today, just more tired looking. But that's the only complaint I have, bad things to say about you.
I stayed up all night the other one night.
Yeah. Yeah, I know the nurses.
Just make sure you're alert to that.
Make sure we're know what we're doing.
You're okay. I'm just trying to be funny and I'm not funny.
Oh. Yeah. You are.
Okay.
What else?
All right. Well, thank you, Deb.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for me at all?
Is this the medical part of the interview?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One of the things I would like to find out is he's taking an antidepressant.
Okay.
Okay. And I know that his doctor, Dr. Ulrich, has said in the past that there were some headroom as far as the potential. He was open to the potential to increasing that dosage if extraordinary circumstances would arise. Well, I mean, those are my words, but it's paraphrased somewhat close. So the point is that I don't know what the procedure would be to contact Dr. Michael Ulrich and find out, for a temporary period of time, because being here is not an easy thing.
No.
I mean, it's nothing against anybody, you know what I mean. And there's a lot of lonely time, there's a lot of quiet time, and this and that. And I would like to find out if we have some headroom that we could say, for X period of time, if the doctor would agree to upping that.
Okay.
That's something I would like to have investigated. And so, would you look into that? Do I need to make a call to him? I mean, I don't know what the procedure is. I know the best thing to do would be to get him in there, have an appointment, blah, blah, blah. At the same point, maybe that's not necessary, especially considering he's not walking. So, I mean, obviously, minimal hassle would be maximum happiness. So, that's a question I have for you. How do we accomplish talking to him and finding this out?
Well, we can send a fax.
That would be a good start.
Do you feel more like sad and depressed or frustrated being here?
Well, in a way, I don't think so. I think a person is you want to move on as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And I think that's normal
Mm-hmm.
when you know there's hope. And there is hope for me.
And I think that those words are difficult to choose, and I'm not critiquing exactly, but I mean, you know, it's not that you're sitting around and sucking your thumb all day, but at the same point, depression can take different forms as far as just sullenness compared to what he normally is, as far as, and you know, you look around and then all of a sudden you start thinking, well, what happens if I'm here a month? And then what happens, boy, if I get home and I haven't had, I mean, we think too much. And this, in my belief, that this can spiral in a negative way. And that's how I see, you know, my goal is to keep this spiral from accelerating or from happening or, you know, that whole process. No, it's not that you're just sitting around and...
Yeah.
But
I know,
solid.
like, you know, and a lot of times in order for these meds to be increased, because they do put the person, especially as we get older, it puts us in a higher risk of like falling in other conditions. And if you're talking about raising it just while he's here and go back to, you know, the normal dose, some of these meds take weeks out to get to more of a top therapeutic level. So I don't know if he, depending on what it is, if he would increase it just to decrease it again.
Well, and that's where the doctor would know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a doctor and I don't play one on TV, so,
Yeah.
you know, facts to him would be great. If he just said, forget about it, or more physical therapy, or you're doing all right, fine. But it's a question worth asking. Agreed, Dad?
Yeah,
Doesn't hurt to ask.
absolutely not.
Okay. Great. Okay. And how is your stay going here?
Days,
How is your stay going here?
oh, like today?
Well, just
Anytime.
in general.
Well, I'd say pretty fair. Yeah. No, time moves slow, but, no, I'm okay there.
Is there anything that you feel that we could be doing more for you?
I think only one thing did bother me for a few days and is improving now. I got to be quite sore on my butt. And that seems to be improving.
Rash type sore.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I spent my time, I'm ready to move on.
You're ready just to say, see you later.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I talked to you on Friday and everything, and we had kind of an extensive conversation in that, and just kind of his long-term goals and everything, and we've kind of working on different assisted devices to use when he's home. And I know that he kind of uses a cane, but I think he'll have to progress to that and everything. But he does very well with a four-wheeled walker. His gait pattern is much better with a four-wheeled walker than it is with a two-wheeled walker. So that's really good.
You mean the type with like the hand brakes?
Yes, he does very good with that. And it's just so smoother cadence, and it seems like it's easier for him to maneuver, and he's very good about managing the brakes and that. With a two-wheel walker, he has support, but then he has a tendency to really push down through his and his shoulders. I'm afraid he'll develop some shoulder problems with all that weight that he's pushing through his arms and everything. So right now it looks like the four-wheeled walker is the way to go with him. And then we've been working on the steps, and he's doing quite well on that. He's taking them one step at a time, which is good. And and that, but he forgets which foot to go with and everything. But I think he'll remember once he does it wrong, because it'll be a little bit on the painful side for him. So, but he's very cooperative. He does everything that I ask, and we redid his Tinetti test, which is a balance test. And the first time I did it, it was on the 6th of May, and he scored a 15 on the 28th. I did it on the 14th of May, and he increased his score to 19 out of 28, which means he's getting, his stability is getting better. Occupational therapy has done some cognitive testing on him, and he scored a 4.2, and they're having trouble with him completing the test. He'll just say, I'm tired, or that's enough, and he doesn't want to do it anymore. He tolerates 6 minutes and 30 seconds of standing activity, which is good. He still requires to have contact guard to standby assist with all his transfers. I do know that he likes to transfer himself in his room and everything, and I'm just afraid that because that left leg is just a little bit weak yet and everything, you have a tendency, that leg has a tendency to buckle. So I still want him to ask for help with all his transfers at this time. And he scored a 19.5 out of 25 on the long-term memory and following directions on the worksheet. A 22 out of 30 on the mini mental. Difficulty with attention, recall, and language areas. His contact guard with his toileting and his lower body dressing, waist down to thigh level. And he had said that he was up late. Was it last night or the night before?
Must have been the night before. I don't know.
Does he stay up late at night? And that, because he's really tired in the morning and everything. He just kind of wanted to know what his sleep habits were and stuff like that. So is he one that are you kind of a night owl?
Not necessarily.
Well, you have become in the last X many years more.
Well, yeah, but
Traditionally, no. But lately, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he stays up till 11 or 12.
Okay, because he had stated to occupational therapy that you stayed up until about 3 o'clock in the morning. Was that correct? Were you watching something pretty good on television?
yeah, I had to rewatch the baseball game.
Did they win or lose again?
Same thing, they won.
Okay, and then occupational therapy wanted you to have this, and they highlighted what he had scored and everything, and that you can just kind of read through those things and everything and that. But we kind of recommend that he still be with us for at least a week to 2 weeks, just to get him so that he's more I want him to be independent in his room and independent throughout the facility before we let him go, because he's an active person and he wants to go home, and I want to make sure that he's safe. So, do you have any questions for me?
What type of physical therapy will either be recommended, or will we talk about when he does get home?
Okay, when he goes home, then I'll send him home with some standing exercises and some seated exercises, so that he can do both, one or the other, or both.
Okay. And is there the opportunity to have I don't know if, I've heard the term home health used a lot, that type of thing. Here's the reason. I mean, we're all built for different things.
Sure.
You're built for physical therapy, et cetera, nursing, blah, 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 blah. I may not be the most kind person dealing with getting somebody to follow the drills. Teaching your own family, that's a difficult thing. And so I'm just wondering what the options are.
Well, home health, they'll be able to help him with his exercises and things like that.
Obviously they're not going to be able to be there all the time, and I do not anticipate that he will only do physical therapy while they're there. That wouldn't make any sense at all. But I just don't want to be put in the position to be the bad guy all the time.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not going to BS, and if nothing's happening, I'll be very clear about that, but I don't want to always be, come on, let's go do it. Let's, no, that would not be good.
Right.
So just a comment. However that's dealt with down the line, that's another thing.
Well, hopefully, Orlando, when it's time to go home and I give you these exercises, it would be nice if you would get into a routine of doing, some exercises. Now, you don't have to do them all at once. You can do them whenever suits you. First thing in the morning, maybe you want to do a few in the afternoon, or maybe a couple before you go to bed. It's not a real strict regimen, but the important thing is to do them and everything.
Something is better than nothing.
Exactly. And then with the four-wheeled walker and that, if you can get out and do some walking, that will be very beneficial for you.
We're pretty well set up with rails around.
Good.
I mean, that's not a big issue because Dad put a lot of rails in when Mom was having difficulties, so
Good.
I think that should be fine.
That's good.
And everything's pretty much on, we'll have it all, so everything's on one level.
Sounds good. So he just has to be
Determined.
determined and disciplined. And I think he can. No response?
Oh, and he's loving every minute of it. He actually called up earlier this morning and asked if Bix could come in and take my place.
Oh.
Because Bix would just want to get pet.
I'd have to run very fast in that.
Okay. All right, dietary. Well, as far as dietary goes, you're on a regular diet, Orlando, so there are no restrictions. You have to eat whatever you so desire. When you and I talked together, you didn't express any complaints about the food I talked to, so I hope everything's going okay.
I'm just not a big eater in the first place, number one. So,
And I know it's not quite like home ever. I mean, it's what one's used to, but we certainly try to have different choices and hopefully.
there's enough variety that I get along quite well.
Oh, yeah. And you have your weight down some, though. You were 167 when you came in, and I see when your weight last Thursday, you're 156. So you're down 11 pounds. So.
I
Maybe.
think I'm on high school days when I get that weight.
Well, you still want to eat to keep strong. You can't,
yeah.
you don't want to lose too much weight. You got to keep your strength up. So you still got to eat. So. And there's always snacks available too if you would ever want something in between meals and put your light on. Whether it's sandwich or ice cream or fruit or crackers or.
Well, here's a case where he's concerned about becoming overweight, and I think it's actually the opposite. And as far as, I don't think that's an issue. You don't have to worry about that, Dad.
I'm not worried about it. No.
Okay, but yeah, I know inside when you're not around the public, that's a concern. So I could bring in some of your dietary supplements, box of Twizzlers, bag of Rolos, et cetera, et cetera. May not be a bad idea.
That'll be fine.
I think that's a pretty good endorsement right there.
So.
And you did have a cold meat sandwich here the other day, and you seem to really enjoy that. Are you a sandwich person?
I like variety,
Okay.
changes.
Okay.
I'm just not a big eater, that's all. Never have been.
Okay.
I could say the food is terrible, but I get plenty of choices. I get plenty of choices.
Well, actually, you said that the food here was a nice change, and it was good, and it was. You have not complained about the food at all. So let that be known.
I like the way I do my eggs better.
Well, everybody has their certain ways of doing their cooking, like all of us do, so I can understand that. We all have our certain techniques, so it's not like home. Try your best.
For better and for worse.
Okay, well, I do 2 assessments with the residents when they first come in, and then I do one at 14 days, and then I do one if you're here longer, and one at discharge time. I do a cognitive test also, and on the first one, he scored a 10 out of 15. He had difficulty reporting the correct day of the week, and with recall, he had difficulty recalling 2 of the words, unless he was given a cue, and then he could recall them, and then one he just couldn't recall at all. Now, when I did that test again, he improved. He went to a 13 out of 15, which was much better as far as our scoring goes. And he did really well, except with recall. He just had difficulty recalling only one of the words with cueing even. So I'm very pleased with what he did. I do a mood assessment, and on the first assessment I did with Orlando, he scored a 5 out of 27. We like to see a score of 10 below, okay?
Excuse me?
A 10 or below.
Or below.
Or below.
So lower is better.
Yes, lower is better. And so he scored a 5. He did state that he was feeling depressed, he said, for several days. He was having trouble falling asleep, he said, for more or half the days. And he said he had little energy, and that was for half or more of the days. When I asked him these questions, I asked, in the last 2 weeks, how have you been feeling? And so that's where that symptom frequency comes in place. When I reassessed him, as far as his mood, he did score a 10 out of 27. He said he was having a little interest or pleasure in doing things, and that was for half or more of the days. He said he felt he was sleeping too much at that time when we talked, and he said that was nearly every day. But he was feeling tired for half or more of the days, and he said his appetite was poor, and he said that was nearly every day. So
the number that should be lower went up.
Right.
And that was a week later or 2 weeks later?
Usually it's about a week later
Okay.
from the initial one that I do. So it would be the second week here.
Okay.
Yes. So he said his goal was to heal and to get back to his garden. He said he didn't have any barriers he didn't feel in returning back to his home. He said that he enjoys hunting, fishing, and gardening. So that is what I have as far as assessments and stuff with Orlando.
I do have one question though. You said he was on an antidepressant?
Correct.
Okay, because and that could be one of your problems, because I don't see all your meds, I only see what comes up for my shift. But you're not on nothing. You're not taking nothing. We have no orders for it.
I believe that. There was a time I took it and then he cut it way back. That much I know.
I don't know what that means, okay? I don't know what that means.
Medication.
I understand, I heard what you said,
Okay.
okay? But I'm not sure what that means because I've never been aware that the doctor took him off the antidepressant.
Yes, for somehow, I don't know why or anything. We don't get records like that. We
Understood.
only get records.
But he's not taking it now.
No, when I go back to your discharge from the hospital, you're not taking anything. You were scheduled blood thinners and high blood pressure meds and a pain med. But when you came from, it looks like Mankato's Hospital. Yes. So wherever, for whatever reason, and they did, and they stopped, they stopped some medications, and you were on Celexa, 20 milligrams daily.
And that is?
They stopped it. Mankato's Hospital did.
Manuel St. Joseph stopped him on Celexa, which is the antidepressant.
Yeah. See, and when you were asking about that, I went to review your whole physician orders.
Do we have any understanding?
It doesn't give me a reason why. But, and that could be why you maybe feel a little,
And that could be why he's not scoring very well and wants to not finish the testing and things.
Yeah, and we also all understand that these things are not like, the difference. I mean, it's not just like that. These are trends and waves.
Right.
But the point is that I'm not happy to hear that. I mean, thank you for finding that out. I'm glad to know. I'm not happy that that's what happened, or at least that I wasn't aware of it.
Yeah, for some reason, it looked like they did stop his eye drops. And it looked like they stopped your Propofol, your cholesterol pill, and it also looks like they stopped your Celexa.
Would that have anything to just do with surgery as far as
I was just going to say that.
or...
It could, some of these medications do interfere with surgical procedures. What I can do is I will take this medication list along with the discontinued ones, and I will let your doctor know that these were discontinued and when can these be restarted.
At the time of surgery.
At the time of surgery, for some
Excellent.
reason. So,
Excellent.
I just wanted to say that before I exited. I didn't want to rudely interrupt anybody, but I wanted you to know we don't have orders, but we don't kid them. So,
Thank you, Deb, so much.
That's
and any questions? I am his full-time nurse, so you can call. It's on by 3 o'clock. So,
Thank you.
yes, any questions, you let me know too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, and I talked to you, and if you have anything that you need to discuss with me,
We got to fill out a form when we get back to the room. Actually, I got to go out and do something, but I'm going to come back and we got to fill out the survey for you, correct?
Yeah, social history.
Yep, we'll get that done today.
okay.
And twins aren't playing today, so that takes a little pressure off.
That's okay.
I'll see you tomorrow. You've done very well. So,
Thank you.
You bet.
And nobody's picking on you here. I mean, I don't think, this is why I say EASY is the worst 4-letter word out there. Even just sitting here in a friendly environment, being assessed, that's not what you wake up in the morning and think, dang, right?
That's the truth.
But at the same point,
Thank you, Orlando.
nothing negative, and thank you, Diane. All right, done?
Good, we're done.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.